The former NOPD officer was convicted of ordering the killing of a New Orleans mother. Ton Trong looks at why that case became so notorious.
Kim Groves was 32 years old when the mother of three was gunned down on the streets of the lower Ninth Ward in 1994. Just before the killing, she celebrated her daughter's 12th birthday.
I'm the daughter of the late Kim Marie Groves, who was assassinated by the New Orleans police officer Len Davis.
That was Jasmine Groves in 2020. At that time, former New Orleans police officer Len Davis was still on death row after a jury convicted him in 1996 of civil rights violations in the murder of Kim Groves. During the trial, prosecutors used video and audio recordings of Davis meeting and speaking with an FBI agent posing as a drug dealer. The undercover sting, dubbed Operation Shattered Shield, was targeting police corruption within the NOPD.
Len Davis was born on August 6, 1964, in Chicago, Illinois. After his father's untimely death, he and his mother moved to New Orleans, a city struggling with poverty, violence, and police corruption. Davis's early life was troubled. He worked odd jobs, including driving a candy truck, and was arrested for battery in his teens. Despite these red flags, he joined the New Orleans Police Department, NOPD, at age 22, benefiting from a hiring surge during the crack epidemic that relaxed academy entry standards. Reports show training was so lax that failing recruits were allowed to graduate anyway. Locals believe Davis took advantage of these weaknesses. Assigned to the 7th District, Davis gained both praise and criticism early in his career. He helped de-escalate a suicide situation and received letters of commendation. Yet he also faced increasing complaints. From 1987 to 1992, Internal Affairs logged over 20 allegations of brutality and misconduct, including a 51-day suspension for striking a woman with his flashlight. Despite this, in 1993, he was awarded the department's Medal of Merit, showing internal contradictions in shielding. Transferred to the 5th District Desire Housing Project in 1989, Davis earned the nicknames RoboCop for his physical presence and Desire Terrorist for his violent control of drug turf. Residents say he partnered with drug dealers, protected them, and controlled police presence to keep rivals at bay. By mid-1994, Davis was reportedly extorting cocaine dealers in a protection racket under FBI surveillance. The tipping point came on October 13, 1994, when Kim Groves, a 32-year-old mother of three, witnessed Davis and his partner beating a teenager they wrongly suspected of shooting at officers. Groves filed an internal affairs complaint the next day. Within hours, Davis allegedly arranged her murder, ordering local drug dealer Paul "Cool" Hardy to kill her, saying, "Get that whore," in FBI wiretaps. Hardy shot Groves in the head. Within hours, she was dead. Davis later confirmed the hit with the police code NAT, necessary action taken. Attorney reports indicate Davis had at least 20 formal complaints dating back to the late 80s, mostly for brutality and framing witnesses or suspects. Human Rights Watch documented that Davis had framed multiple men. Writers estimate that several innocent people served decades due to his fabricated testimony in homicide cases. Federal authorities indicted Davis in December 1994 in connection with Groves's murder and the drug smuggling ring. In 1996, he was convicted of depriving Groves of her civil rights, resulting in death, witness tampering, conspiracy to distribute cocaine, and firearms violations. He was the first on-duty NYPD or New Orleans police officer sentenced to death for civil rights violations. That same year, he also received a life sentence plus 5 years for cocaine trafficking. Davis bizarrely represented himself during his resentencing trial. Despite overwhelming recorded evidence tying him to the hit, he argued innocence, claiming the witnesses were lying and the jury would have reasonable doubt. In 2005, a jury again sentenced him to death, but the sentence remained controversial. Davis's death sentence was reviewed and vacated in 1999 due to procedural issues. A new sentencing panel reaffirmed it in 2005. Then on December 23, 2024,
President Biden commutes the sentences of 37 federal death row inmates, instead giving them life in prison without parole.
One of those inmates is from Louisiana. Back in 1996, former police officer Len Davis ordered a hitman to kill a New Orleans mother. Tonight, our Lily Cummings hears from her family about the change in his sentence.
Davis was later implicated by an FBI narcotics investigation that linked Davis to Groves' murder and revealed his efforts to shield the hitman, Paul Cool Hardy, and his string of drug crimes. In 1996, Davis was sentenced to death. Fast forward to 2024, in his final days in office, President Joe Biden commuted 37 of 40 federal death row prisoners, including Davis. Now Davis will spend life in prison without parole.
Outgoing President Joe Biden commuted Davis's death sentence to life without parole as part of a broader clemency for federal death row inmates. Davis rejected the commutation, arguing it denied him higher scrutiny and appellate fairness. The decision sparked public outcry.
Groves' son Corey said to WWL Louisiana in a statement, "My family has been living with the nightmare of Len Davis for over 30 years. I have always wanted him to spend the rest of his life in prison and have to wake up every morning and think about what he did when he took our mother from us." Although Biden says he condemns the murderers and grieves for the victims, he promised to abolish the federal death penalty, and this is his most dramatic step yet.
Retired U.S. Attorney Michael McMahon condemned Biden's decision as morally depraved and criticized officials who failed to inform Groves' family until days later, violating victim notification policies. Groves' children and advocacy groups continued demanding justice and transparency. Len Davis is currently imprisoned at the United States Penitentiary, Terre Haute in Indiana. He remains one of only a few death row inmates to challenge a presidential commutation and is fighting to reinstate his original death sentence. Meanwhile, the city of New Orleans has reckoned with Davis's legacy. In late 2022, 3 men wrongly convicted based on Davis's false testimony were released after serving nearly 3 decades. Another man, Dwayne LeBlanc, was exonerated in 2022 after Davis's framing led to a 24-year wrongful murder conviction. The city also paid Groves' children $1.5 million in 2018.
Developing case at criminal court, new evidence exonerated 3 New Orleans men who were wrongfully convicted of a murder in the 1990s. Now they're suing the city and prosecutors for 28 years behind bars. WGNO's Mallory Smith is at federal court tonight. Mallory.
Yeah, Susie, so for more than 28 years, Kunta Gable, Sidney Hill, and Bernell Jaluk were wrongly incarcerated for the 1994 murder of Rondell Santenac, a crime they did not commit. Now, it happened when they were just 17 and 18 years old. But on October 19th of last year, the 3 men were released from prison after newly uncovered evidence linked the crime to former New Orleans police officers Len Davis and Sammy Williams. Now the 3 men are asking for justice. Today, they officially filed a lawsuit against the city of New Orleans, the DA's office, along with the individual officers involved.
It's amazing that my lawyer was able to file to get me compensated for what I've been through for the last 28 years of my life. And I'm satisfied with that, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm blessed, and I thank God for everything that happened.
Davis, one of the officers involved, has been on federal death row for multiple charges. Now, as for Williams, his location is unknown, but he is believed to be living free after testifying against Davis. Now, I spoke to the attorneys in the case. They tell me no future dates have been set quite yet. I also spoke to the men involved who tell me they're relieved to finally be getting justice, but above everything else, they hope that what happened to them doesn't happen to anybody else. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Mel.